Yeah, I want to make sure my name is pronounced properly. My name is Sum, which is S-U-M. It's basically an English word. But people always call me like Sum or Sam, but I'm not really bothered, but yeah, my real name is Sum, S-U-M. It means forest in Chinese. Forest. Forest, like this, forest, yeah. And well, yeah, I'm a professional poker player, which is a fancy name for, basically I just play poker for a living. Yeah, and I started playing poker like 10 years ago. It was a limit poker back then. Yeah. 'Cause back then I think no limits for either for professionals or high rollers or whatever. And limit poker's kind of more popular back then. I wasn't really into poker at that time. I was just bonus spamming. They used to give you a bonus if you play a certain number of hands. So I just have loads of accounts and just get like 500 quid a month. I'll probably just break even on it. And limit poker is quite easy, like it's quite mechanical. You just play premium hands, you call for draws and stuff. And can't remember, I think I stopped after like a year. Either they stopped doing the bonus or I got bored. Oh, it was online, yeah. It's William Hill and some other like online casinos back then. I still remember the name of the company that do the poker software. It's Cryptologic. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah, they all use the same skin anyway. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've always been working in the industry that's related to betting. Yeah, I used to work for Ladbrokes. You know Ladbrokes, the bookie. Yeah, but not in the shop, but in the headquarters. It's in Reynolds Lane. We have some sort of like a department that deals with the Far East customers, like customers from Hong Kong, Malaysia, and stuff like that. That's where that was my first job. And after I left Ladbrokes, I went to work for another gaming company. But it's different sort of bookmaker. They don't really take bets much. They bet themselves. It's called proprietary trading. They have like a statistical model, and they would do the printout every day. We just bet on stuff that the computer says. It's a really interesting job, but after about 3-4 years, I got bored. First of all, because I hate writing reports. Yeah. I decided to quit my job in June this year. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Well, I mean, it's always to have a job because it's good to have a job because it's because of security, and when you tell people, it's better to tell people you have a proper job. Yeah, because I'm Chinese, and Chinese people think poker is just gambling. So if you tell them you're a professional poker player, they just think you're a professional gambler, which is seen as a bad thing. I mean, not just Chinese, even English people. I mean, it's frowned upon, right? Like gambling, they see it as a vice. That's why Vegas is called a sin city. I mean, in general, people see gambling as a vice, not a good thing. But obviously, because I play poker, I know poker is not really gambling. It's a skill game. Obviously, there's a lot of elements of luck in it. But I read about an article about how to say whether poker is gambling or not. Basically, it says if something is pure gambling, it's pure luck, you cannot lose on purpose. I mean, if you bet Pano Banco, the only way to lose on purpose is if you bet both sides. But if you just play normally, you can't lose on purpose. You can't make sure you're definitely going to lose. But in poker, you can lose on purpose. So it's not a game of pure luck. That's what it says in the article, and I agree. But like I said, in the Chinese community, they always see it as gambling. So I mean, I told my parents. My dad doesn't really care. My mom, she wasn't really happy, but she just said good luck. That's it, and say be careful. That's it. What can she do anyway? Yeah. So yeah, I thought about it for a long time, and the one thing that made me quit my job is the freedom I get from playing poker. Because if you have a day job, you have to go to work. Like whether you like it or not, you just have to go to work. But poker, you decide. It's your decision. If you don't want to play, you cannot play. like for me, the bottom line is you put in enough hours over a month. But if you don't feel like playing that day, you can just stay at home or do something else. That's the good thing about poker, for me anyway. Yeah. I came here about 13 years ago for study, university. Yeah. Yeah. After I graduated, I was gonna go back to Hong Kong because my ex-girlfriend, she's from Hong Kong and she doesn't really like England, and we've been together for a long time, and like she really wanted me to go back. But back then, I don't know if you heard about it. There's a financial crisis in Asia. Back then, that was around 2001, 2002. Back then in Asia, it was really bad. Like a fresh graduate in Hong Kong, you get like 700 quid a month. Yeah, so my mum was like, "Oh, all right, try to get a job here." It was quite tough, actually. It was quite tough because I didn't have a British passport, so I needed a work permit to work here. And it's hard to get a work permit because you can't apply for a work permit yourself. It's a company that applies for you. So it becomes like a vicious circle. So the company wouldn't want to employ someone who needs a work permit because it's a fuss for them. So if you don't have a work permit, even you're really good for the job, they still won't employ you because of the trouble they have to go through. But it's just so tough to get a job. And I bought my ticket to go back to Hong Kong. And I put my CV with a very big recruitment company. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called REED, L-E-E-D. It's it's probably the biggest recruitment company in England. Anyway, they gave me a call and say, "Oh, Levels want someone who speaks Chinese," because they're opening a new department who deals with the Asian customers. That was during the World Cup in Japan and Korea, 2002. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I went there, had an interview. I didn't get a reply for like a month or whatever. I'm going back, yeah. And funnily, one of my, I was living in a flat share back then, like house share. One of my flatmate, he works for Ladbrokes as a trader. And he knows the guy who interviewed me. So my flatmate asked me, it's like, "Oh, how did it go?" I was like, "No, I don't know. I mean, I think it went all right, but I still haven't got a reply, so I'm going back anyway." It's like, "Oh, I'll ask him for you." And I think it did. And I think I got a call a couple of days later, and they say, "All right." So they say, "We don't have a vacancy for that post anymore, but there's another post. Do you want to do it?" It's more like customer service and a bit of like website management. Just editing the contents and stuff, like in Chinese and stuff. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Because my mom wanted me to stay. Yeah, I got a job, like, and they're willing to apply a work permit for me. It was like, oh, perfect. That's how I got my first job. Yeah. But that's basically the reason I stayed in England. I wouldn't be in England otherwise. I'll be in Hong Kong. Because I wanted to go back because my girlfriend wanted me to go back, and myself, I wanted to go back as well. It just, you know, in the Chinese family, like the pressure from the parents is really big, especially I'm the only child, and I didn't want to disappoint her, so I was like, yeah, I'll try to get a job in England. That's how I stay here. Yeah. So I've been here for like 15 years. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I used to be a DJ as well. I play a lot of blackjack. It was really bad. It was really bad. The first casino I went to is the Golden Nuggets. Yeah, I was a DJ, just pure gambling. It was really bad. I used to go there after work, just play overnight and go back to work straight. It was really bad, and I'm very happy that I picked up poker because that's one of the reasons I quit gambling. Because I understand that you can't beat casino. Because when I read about poker, it's like this sort of game is about the odds. Against casino, the odds is never in your favor. But poker is different. You play against other players. If you have an edge, you can beat them in the long run. And I see poker as like a skill game. But obviously, you're not guaranteed to win even you're playing against a really bad player. He can still beat you on any given day. But if you see it as a long-term thing, it's fine. It's the same as like sports betting. There are like syndicates and professional sports bettors. They bet on football, American sports. they don't win, they don't guarantee to win every time they bet, but over the long run, it's like an investment. And that's another thing I get annoyed when I tell people I play poker professionally and they think you're just a gambler. But they see, like, if you're a day trader, they think it's a proper job. But it's the same thing, I think. It's still gambling. And yeah, funnily, when I first played poker, it was a tournament in Golden Nuggets. I was doing my ballers on a blackjack, so I decided to have a go in the tournament. I bubbled. I remember I bubbled. Yeah, but they decided to take some money out of the prize pool and just give me my money back, basically, my buy-in back. And afterwards, I went to Empire to play some cash game. I think I was really bad at that time. I can't even remember, but I think I lost. Yeah, I got stacked with 2 pair, and someone turned a straight or something. Yeah, that's how I started playing poker. But then I started playing more and more, and I'm not winning. I think I sort of broke even, or I might have lost a little bit. But I wasn't a big loser. I wasn't very good, but I played quite tight. Yeah, I think a lot of beginners, unless they're like just playing for fun or they're just crazy, they normally play tight, beginners. Then I started reading some books. I read the Super System, which now I'm looking back, it's a fun read. It's an interesting read, but it's not that good really. Yeah, it's outdated, exactly. Then I started to read some e-books, like it's more about modern poker, like Let There Be Range, and it's another one called The Easy Game, the 2 volumes. That one's quite good. Yeah, and the more I read about it, the more I believe that it's a skill game. It's not just luck, and yeah. I used to play online. I think I used to play on Betfair, and it didn't go well. It's just too tough. For me anyway. I think it's in 2010, 2009. I think back then poker started to become tough online. Because my mate's been telling me like 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's like so easy. It's like you just have to like nut pedals and people just pay you off. Yeah. I don't really enjoy online poker anyway. I think it's quite unsociable and it's just boring. Just staring at a screen. Especially I hate multi-tabling. It's just I feel like a robot. Yeah. I enjoy live poker much more. I think it took me like 3 years probably, because I didn't play seriously before then. I just played it for fun, so I didn't put much effort in it. Yeah. Reading books definitely helped. Yeah, definitely helped. It gave me like this is fundamentals. That's one thing I noticed from a lot of live poker players. A lot of them, they play for a long time. They're decent. They're not really bad, but they just lack fundamentals in a lot of things. It's like I've noticed a lot of people, they like to bluff the river when the river pairs. They always think they can represent trips. But if you read about any like basic poker books, they will tell you if the river pairs, it actually narrows your nut range. It narrows your combinations of value hands. So yeah, that's one of the simple things that changes me after I read some books. Yeah. And it's easier to make like calls on the river when river paired as well. Yeah. In poker, just simple math. It's like really simple math. You don't need to have a university degree. Well, I suppose, yeah. If you're good with numbers, yeah. I mean, life is different from online because you don't have that. You don't have like that many statistics to go with you. Because online people use softwares. That's like such detailed statistics on every player. Especially nowadays, they even have like some histograms on back sizing, like when the other guy bets this amount on the river, how many percentage of time they have a nut hand. So that's why I hate playing online. I just think it becomes so mechanical, like yeah, it's harder to beat as well. Not really. I don't really use online forums. Yeah. No, I don't really read forums. I only read books. I watch some like training videos and stuff. Yeah. I think like most people on 2+2, they're just killing time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a joke that's saying if you have a post count bigger than your bankroll, it's a set. I think that's funny. Some people, they just post stupid stuff. Yeah. I play in Amsterdam, the Holland Casino. Not much different. I think it's quite similar to England. Well, I suppose I only played there for like, what, 5-6 sessions in total, so I can't really tell, but from those 5-6 sessions, I think it's quite similar to London. It's not tougher, that's for sure. At the beginning, yeah. If I don't know anything about that guy I play tighter, I tend to see how they play first, like the tendencies and stuff. And but if they go crazy at the beginning, I normally just, I don't give them credit if they do that, because my point of view is that 90% of the poker players are bad. So, like, number wise, if it's a random guy, it's more likely he's a bad player than a good player. So I won't give him credit. No, it's just the decision you make, like pre-flop, on the flop, on the turn, on the river. It's more about decision making. It's not about whether you win or lose. I mean, if you get in pre-flop every time as 80% favor and keep losing, does that make you a bad player? Obviously not. But you also have to look back. If you could just not get in pre-flop and play post-flop, that's another thing to think about. Some people, they just get to play post-flop. They just try to shove it in pre-flop as often as possible because they're just scared. That doesn't mean they're a good player. Even they actually put in the money in good shape every time. But if they do that, it's not a good thing. Yeah, that's what I think anyway. Yeah, obviously I believe in myself. Yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't quit my job and play this full time, because I'm taking a big risk. Like, you're giving away like a very good job, which gives you a stable income every month, and to take on something that, well, if I'm not sure about it, I probably wouldn't do it. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think I'm sort of a nit inside me. If I'm not at least, like, say 70-80% sure that I can make it, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. That's why I play Hold'em. I don't play Omaha. Well, in Omaha you can never be like more than 70% favor, can you? Yeah. Oh, Square want a cigarette, I think. Yeah.